we've kind of contained Jalen Brunson so far throughout the series, but last night was the first time we actually saw Brunson kind of explode offensively for them as far as scoring the ball. So he looked like he looked like the way he's played all season. But my question is, do you think the Knicks are harder to beat when it's Brunson and everyone else, or when they have more of a kind of a balanced approach to it, like the first two games of the series?
Man, I think that the hardest part about beating the Knicks, I think Brunson's going to be who he is if those guys are making threes. Because Brunson, I mean, at the end of the day, his percentages had increased in game 3. It wasn't as high in games 1 and 2, but his attempts were around the same area.
Yeah.
So he's been who he has been for that team this year. Games 1 and 2, they had 1 or 2 guys every game that just shot the lights out.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of helps you. So then if you get those offensive rebounds like they did in game 1, now all of a sudden you get more shots. You got guys that are more confident, harder to beat. But at the end of the day, if you allow them to dictate tempo, get the shots they want, get to the free throw line, being able to set their defense to cut down your transition baskets and limit your easy possessions and your easy shots, they can beat you. They can beat anybody if you allow them to play that way. And I think at the end of the day, you have to somehow get them to speed them up offensively and be able to attack them on the defensive end with some easier shots and easier opportunities and a lot more paint points. I think if you can establish that's how you beat the Knicks. But if they establish their style of play, they can be very good and very efficient.
Yeah, so Barkley actually said he felt like Brunson was shooting too much. But like you said, I was like, I didn't agree with that because I think it's around the same attempts. I'm like, he made more this time, actually. So, like, the one game he's making almost 50%, I felt like it was totally warranted. When he's going 6 of 25, that's when I think he should shoot less. And he also distributed, he had 13 assists. So I thought it was by far his best game of the series overall. And other teammates scored. We talked about the percentages. So I think the only guy who didn't really
a lot of people kind of, but that's what it is. A lot of times a guy that has the ball all the time and he initiates the offense and he drives and he shoots, you always feel like he's shooting too much because he dominates the ball.
Yeah.
Dribbles a lot. So I wouldn't necessarily, to me, it's not necessarily shooting the ball a lot. It's more dominating the ball a lot. But that's how they play.
Yeah, it runs through him.
Yeah.
I think the only thing they were missing, really, DiVincenzo had his first, I think, dud of the series. He didn't really shoot a lot either. But the other guys shot lights out, as they've been doing. And I think it was just the rebounds again. I think you give them 2 to 3 extra possessions, and they'd be right in that game, like a 2 to 3 possession game. We're back to game 2 again. So that extra 2, 3, 4 possessions it's monumental for them because they're really good at taking advantage of those extra offensive rebounds. They're really good at that. And I think what really hurt them too was they didn't get to stagger their big man lineups between Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson because he got injured. They really didn't miss a beat whenever they've been doing that. They've been great on the boards, both of them. And Mitchell Robinson was great at contesting shots, at being a shot blocker in the paint. And I said before, they had half of what they've been averaging this series as far as block shots. I think Mitchell being out really hurt that. It's going to really hurt them going forward. Achua is a really good third-string big man. I'm not saying he's not. We're very lucky to have that. But it's a big difference when you go from Hartenstein to Achua. You got 2 kind of undersized guys guarding Embiid. Mitchell Robinson kind of evened it out a little bit and staggered that well with them. So that's going to be a big loss.
I believe it was the first game that Bogdan had less than 2 threes. First game of the series so far.
Yeah, he was off a little bit too.
Yeah,
sure.
And OG actually, but OG played great for them, and percentage wise, I mean, Hart's been shooting the lights out of it every game. So
Hart's just when is he going to get cold? I mean, my goodness, not even cold. Like once he to go back to his season average. I mean, he's averaging 4 threes a game this series. He didn't have 4 3-point game this season. I don't think.
And the betting lines haven't adjusted to him either. They've kept to him at, I think, over 1.5 as his main line, and he's exceeded that every game.
I mean, yeah.
Do you think Robinson, if Robinson's not playing on Sunday, that's a big loss for them, Eric?
Yeah, I mean, you need as many guys that you can throw and help defend on, primary defenders on Joel as you can get. You see when he was out and Hartenstein got in foul trouble, how it hurt them. So yeah, that'll definitely hurt them. He was playing well and defending and rebounding and giving them. From what they said on the broadcast, he's one of the best offensive rebounders in the league. So yeah, it does help us if he misses games. That you can tell he missed some games this year for them, and it mattered.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big loss for them. If Hartenstein gets in foul trouble, that means Achua is going to play like 20, 25 minutes, maybe even more in that game. So
defending Joel, I mean, that's the difference.
Joel, yeah. They might. Do they still have Jericho Sims?
They do.
I mean, as far as you don't think so, unless they have to. But yeah,
I just don't see them bringing the guy in like that unless both of those guys foul out or something.
Yeah, but I mean, it's gonna be tough for them, man. You don't want anyone to get injured, but yeah, that's a tough loss for them because he was already questionable going into it with that, and then he injured in the game. Like that's not. I doubt he plays in that game.
We'll see. It wouldn't surprise me, especially then go back home and kind of get ready for Game 5. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I think his over-under for rebounds, Robinson's was 7.5 yesterday going to that game. I took the under because I knew he was injured going into that game. I didn't realize he was going to get hurt in the game, but
what did he have?
Yeah, I think he almost got that even before he left.
If he didn't get injured, you would have had it.
Yeah, 100%. I think he had like 5. I mean, he was close to that.
Yeah.